Law enforcement also rushed to the scene to help sheriff deputies and San Jose police secure that and what they call processing the scene. That is actually looking for evidence, looking for those casings, trying to figure out step by step exactly what happened, how it unfolded, who said what, who saw what. And we saw all those other VTA employees leaving. They're also going to be very critical to figuring out exactly what happened today.
Yeah, they have to interview about 40 witnesses and 40 people at the scene and catalog all the evidence and enter it all. And senior investigator Stephen Stock has been working his sources all day. We heard you at the news conference asking some really tough questions too. He joins us live. And Stephen, what do you know?
Well, Janelle, I can tell you my sources tell me that there was a single device that got the attention of an explosive sniffing dog today. But my sources just told me very few minutes ago it was not a bomb, not an explosive device. However, law enforcement investigators, they tell me, are still moving very cautiously in the scene around the area. ATF and other explosive sniffing dogs are still working the scene because they want to make sure there are not other potential devices there. We watched as at least 5 different specialty dogs, each trained to sniff out and find different substances, worked the scene in and around that main VTA maintenance building, the guardhouse at the back of the property, several vehicles there. You see the guardhouse and building B. That's also part, we understand, some of the shooting happened there. It's all part of a massive and complex crime scene that will take quite a while to process.
It is multiple locations. It is, as I said, it's a very sizable crime scene. We are currently in there looking at how we need to go and how we need to process that. That is also going to take some time before we actually start processing the scene.
Any idea how long? Days?
Potentially looking at days, but I don't want to get into that right now, Stephen.
We also watched as the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Bomb Squad mobilized its robot. You see it right there to check out that one device. But again, I have to stress, my source just told me it was inert and not an explosive device. In addition to dozens of sheriffs and San Jose police investigators, the FBI is now flying in a special crime scene evidence technicians and equipment from the FBI's training headquarters in Quantico, Virginia. ATF will help run the ballistics on the gun, bullets and shell casings, and all of that will be done out of the office here in Santa Clara. We'll stay on this story.
Stephen, have your sources told you anything about the type of weapons that Cassidy may have used?
It's interesting. They're keeping that very close to their vest. They say it was a handgun. That's what our sources are telling us, and that's as far as it goes. They won't say whether it was a pistol or a small bore rifle. We're going to learn more about that, but that's a great question.
Yeah, that'll be really, if he shot 8 people, how many rounds did he actually shoot?
Right.
Did he have time to reload? If it was a handgun, there's a lot of questions there. And then my other question for you is, this type of municipal, transit agency, this wouldn't have the type of security. We know he worked there, so he would be able to badge in, but obviously there were no systems in place like a metal detector to know where their weapons are being brought in. You typically don't have those, right?
That's exactly right, especially in this area. If you look very closely, this is a wide open yard, and in fact the dogs were working some of the maintenance vehicles and actually one of the front end loaders there in the yard, so they're suspicious of that. I will say there was a guard shack there. It's that blue thing you see in the back. In fact, you saw the live shot. That is a guard shack, and 2 of my sources tell me there was somebody manning that guard shack this morning. So again, when you have a big yard, there's not a lot of security, but there was a presence there at least around 6:30 this morning, according to my sources.
Right. Usually there's no suspicion if you're an employee just going to work. We badge in too when we come in here.
Exactly. And it looks like they were working, the dogs were working actually some of these pickup trucks that are properties of VTA, and one of them may have been the suspects. So we saw all of this. In fact, very few reporters gained access like we did, and we're able to watch it all morning and into the afternoon, seeing them work the scene.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. And as soon as you know more, I know we'll go back to you.
You bet.
I know you're working that gun angle, also trying to find more about what happened in the yard and actually checking back into Cassidy's background as well. So we'll let you go do your thing.
Thank you.